We are, all of us, drawn to monsters.
There's a lie we tell ourselves about grief, that it can be contained behind manicured lawns and expensive walls. But the truth is messier. The truth is sewage in the pipes. Netflix's The Beast in Me begins in the wreckage of a writer's life. But this isn't a simple story of good versus evil. It's about dangerous symbiosis, a vampiric exchange, cat and mouse and true crime adjacency. Be warned, the remainder of this analysis contains spoilers. Our hero, author Aggie Wiggs, is both righteous investigator and creative predator. Our villain, charming sociopath Niall Jarvis, is both monster and, for her, dark salvation. The question: what happens when the only way to escape your darkness is to hunt it in someone else? Today on Film Verite, we're decoding how this thriller manipulates trust, building its foundation on mythic bargains made modern, constructing its architecture from Hitchcockian noir, and exploiting your relationship with two iconic actors.
You got bloodlust, I can smell it.
Every story has an ancestor. The Beast in Me doesn't rely on jump scares or supernatural creatures. It updates ancient myths for the 24-hour news cycle, monsters amplified by media spectacle. Creator Gabe Rotter identifies two foundational pillars. First, the Faustian bargain. That old German myth of trading your soul for power, updated for celebrity culture. Rotter was inspired by Donald Trump's ghostwriter, Tony Schwartz, a man granted unfettered access to a subject he realized was a monster, forcing a choice between exposure and glorification.
Do you regret the book? Greatest regret of my life, without question. I wish the book weren't even in print.
Second, the celebrity killer.
She talked on the telephone with her husband, then she vanished, and no one has seen Kathleen Durst since.
The real-world archetype embodied by Robert Durst. IndieWire called Niall Jarvis a rich prick sociopath. The Hollywood Reporter, wealthy sociopath hiding in plain sight. But the show does something smarter. It doesn't rush to the reveal. It stretches the dangerous intimacy across 8 hours.
Wow, okay.
You're really not afraid of me.
Should I be?
Well, I don't know. It depends what you read. Most people are just walking on eggshells and kissing my ass.
That must be hard.
You see? Funny.
This mythic foundation provides the what. But to understand its unique feel, we need to dissect the cinematic language it uses. A transformed myth needs a body. The Beast in Me builds its thriller DNA from 5 predecessors, each teaching it a different lesson in how to make proximity feel dangerous. Film 1, Rear Window, 1954. The Voyeuristic framework.
You better get that trunk out of there before it starts to leak.
Alfred Hitchcock's masterpiece of observation and accusation. Showrunner Daniel Pearl describes the show as very noir Hitchcocky. The structural framework establishes suspense and violation. But the series doesn't stop with homage. It uses this Hitchcockian foundation as a stage for something more invasive. The lesson? Proximity becomes evidence. Observation becomes accusation. Film 2, The Talented Mr. Ripley, 1999. Charisma as camouflage.
Dickie Greenleaf? It's Tom Ripley. We were at Princeton together.
How do you do?
You're so white. Did you ever see a guy so white, Marge?
Patricia Highsmith's sociopath, rendered by Anthony Minghella. Tom Ripley's social glide, charm masking amorality, power to manipulate narrative. Matthew Rhys himself says he's drawn to characters who skirt the gray areas between dark and light. Niall Jarvis follows Ripley's playbook. Convivial dinner smiles, polite handshakes, all while the beast lurks beneath. The lesson? Charm is a weapon. Charisma conceals predation. Film 3, Gone Girl, 2014, The Media Machinery. David Fincher's dissection of public narrative versus private truth. And crucially, Gillian Flynn's invention of the modern domestic noir, an unreliable female narrator whose fractured perception becomes the story's engine.
I feel like something to be jettisoned if necessary. I feel like I could disappear.
The Beast in me inherits both media attention as plot machinery and the unstable perspective of a grieving woman battling trauma and alcohol. Headlines, TV pundits, the production of narrative by journalists and agents. Just like Amy Dunn, the characters manipulate how their story gets told. And like Amy's diary, Aggie's perception is the weapon and the trap. The lesson? Narrative markets inflate suspicion. Storytelling itself creates monsters. And when trauma fractures perception, who do we believe? Film 4, Gaslight, 1944, Psychological Manipulation. George Cukor's classic thriller about reality itself becoming a weapon. A woman's sanity systematically dismantled by someone she trusts. This is the show's emotional core. Aggie's unstable perception isn't just trauma, it's a battlefield. The question becomes, is she seeing clearly, or is she being gaslit by her own obsession? The lesson? The line between investigation and paranoia is dangerously thin. 5. Sharp Objects, 2018. Prestige TV's Slow Burn.
Ma said she saw a ghost once.
The HBO model of female protagonists, small-town secrets, and layered moral ambiguity. The Beast in me imports that slow burn energy. Not episodic thrills, but an 8-hour psychological unraveling. Investigation pressure meets domestic rot. The lesson? TV gives time for the beast to emerge slowly, intimately. Here is the synthesis. The story takes Hitchcock's voyeuristic framework, proximity as threat, folds in Highsmith's sociopathic charm, charisma as camouflage, absorbs Flynn's media manipulation and unreliable narrators, narrative as weapon, filters it through classic noir's psychological gaslighting, reality as manipulation, then lets prestige TV stretch the tension until intimacy turns corrosive. Slow burn intimacy. The result? A thriller that doesn't just show you a monster, it makes you complicit in creating one. The most potent tool isn't the plot, it's the players. The casting of Claire Danes and Matthew Rhys is meta-casting, a deliberate strategy leveraging our pre-existing relationships with their most iconic roles. Claire Danes is Aggie Wiggs.
I lost 7 months of my life. Tell me I don't get a shot at some payback.
We watch Aggie through the lens of Carrie Mathison from Homeland. The Hollywood Reporter notes the show capitalizes on what's become a cultural meme, the Claire Danes crying face. Crumpled creases of concern atop a quivery chin. For years, we were conditioned to interpret this not as madness, but as correct intuition. This instantly validates Aggie's suspicions, makes us complicit in her hunt. Matthew Rhys as Niall Jarvis. Rhys arrives with his Philip Jennings legacy from The Americans.
They kept telling us we had to make it real to ourselves.
We're trained to see him as the sympathetic liar, someone who skirts the gray areas between dark and light. This legacy cloaks Niall in chilling ambiguity. His charm feels authentic. His evil, when it erupts, is all the more terrifying. The show doesn't just cast actors, it casts our memories of them. It leverages trust built over years of television to make us root for a predator. So what is the cinematic DNA of The Beast in Me? It's a thriller, reverse-engineered for the modern age. But here's the legacy. Aggie's hunt isn't just for justice. It's resurrection through obsession. The show makes us root for her predation. It forces us to admit we also need a monster. The beast isn't just the man next door or the anger in our hero's heart. It's the part of us that tunes in week after week to watch them tear each other apart. Next time on Film Verité's Cinematic DNA, another code cracked, another lineage decoded. Subscribe to follow the trail.